pumps blood towards 120,000 kilometers of blood vessels. Okay, so yung 120,000 kilometers of blood vessel na yan, kung i-imagine mo, para daw yan ikatatlong ikot mo sa equator ng Earth. Okay? So napakahaba ng ating mga blood vessels, class. Okay? So whereas yung right side naman ng heart natin, it pumps blood papunta sa ating lungs. Okay? So kung mapapansin niyo, class, our heart does not rest. Okay? So, dito malalaman natin kung bakit kaya or paano kaya nangyayari iyon. Sige. So, the cardiovascular system is a closed system of the heart and blood vessel. When we say closed system, hindi siya connected outside. So, example lang, open system natin is the digestive system. Diba? Kabilang sa digestive system natin is yung mouth at yung anus natin. So, the mouth opens towards the external environment, diba? Pati yung anus natin. Whereas the cardiovascular system, it does not open towards the external environment. Kaya siya natawag na closed system. Now, the heart, which is a component of the cardiovascular system, pumps the blood. Okay? Whereas, the blood vessels allow the blood to circulate to all parts of the body. So the function of the cardiovascular system is to deliver oxygen and nutrients and to remove carbon dioxide and other waste products. So nakakatulong si cardiovascular system sa homeostasis by allowing the exchange of respiratory gases as well as nutrients and waste products. So first, let's talk about the heart. So the heart, class, is located sa ating thoracic cavity between the lungs. Okay? So the pointed apex or yung tip ng ating heart is directed towards the left hip. So ito yun siya. So ito yung heart natin, di ba? Ito yung thoracic cavity. Then ito yung lungs natin. So sa gitna niyan, si heart. So yung apex, ito siya yung tip ng ating heart or yung pointed or narrowed end ng ating heart ay directed siya towards the left. Okay? Towards the left. Papunta dito sa left. So the heart, the size of the heart is approximately about the size of our fist. So kung yung size ng fist mo, most likely yun din yung size ng iyong heart. Okay? Unless na lang kung may abnormal condition ka in which yung kamay mo is smaller or larger than usual. Pero take note, class, na yung size lang ang kaparehas, okay? But not the shape. So, ito yun siya. So, the heart. So, if tatanungin kayo sa exam, saan yung location ng heart? So, ang i-answer nyo is that it is located sa thoracic cavity between the lungs. Okay? Remember also that the heart rests above the diaphragm. So, nasa taas siya ng diaphragm. Okay? So, if ever wala yun sa choices, class, look for mediastinum. Mediastinum. Okay, so the mediastinum is the area in which sakop niya yung sternum natin pati yung ating vertebral column. Okay, so kung saan banda yung sternum, class, dun yung mediastinum. Okay, so 2/3 of our heart daw is directed towards the left side. Again, 2/3 of the heart is directed towards the left side. Now, the heart has coverings. Okay, so yung heart natin, it is covered by the pericardium. So ito yun siya, yung ating pericardium. So the pericardium, class, is a triple layered sac. Okay? Triple layered sac. So ano ba yung, ito yun siya, zoom in natin. So this is the pericardium. So ito, yung space dito, as well as yung lining dito. So ano ba yung 3 layers na yon? So we have first the fibrous pericardium. Next, we have the serous pericardium. Now, itong serous pericardium class, it is further divided into two. We have the parietal layer and then we have the visceral layer. Okay? So again, ang 3 layers ng ating heart ay yung fibrous pericardium, the parietal layer of the serous pericardium, and lastly, the visceral layer of the serous pericardium. So ito yun siya, ito yung fibrous class, yan yung makapal na yan, yung fibrous. Then ito, yung white, nakita nyo, yan yung parietal layer. And then merong space sa gitna, okay, may space dyan sa gitna. Then ito naman, yan yung ating visceral na layer, okay? So yung fibrous pericardium natin class, it is thick and it attaches to our diaphragm, okay? Again, your fibrous pericardium is thick, so makapal siya, and it attaches to the diaphragm. Okay, aside from that, it is also attached to our blood vessels. Whereas yung mga serous pericardium natin class, thinner sila, okay? Kung mapansin niyo yung white, okay, mas thin talaga siya compared sa ating fibrous pericardium. So, the inflammation of our pericardium class is also known as pericarditis. Okay, again, the inflammation of the pericardium is also known as the pericarditis. So, itong pericarditis class, ang manifestation nito sa patient is that there is chest pain, okay? Chest pain. Usually, it is caused by viral infection. Okay, viral infection, chest pain. Minsan napapagkamalan ito ng heart attack pero hindi pala. Okay? So, yung pericarditis na yun class, pwedeng pwedeng acute lang, pwede ring chronic. Okay? Pwede acute, pwede ring chronic. So, syempre, mas delikado yung chronic. Okay. So, let us further discuss the serous pericardium. So, yung serous pericardium natin class, it is double layered. So, di ba? We have the visceral pericardium as well as yung parietal pericardium natin. So, yung inner layer si visceral pericardium. The visceral pericardium is also known as the epicardium. Okay? So, ito yun siya. Yan. So, ito yung natin, yung ating visceral pericardium at tapos yung nasa labas yung ating parietal. Now, remember na merong space between the parietal as well as the visceral layer, okay? So, yung space class, itong space na ito is called the pericardial cavity, okay? Again, the space between your visceral pericardium as well as the parietal pericardium is known as the pericardial cavity. Now, inside this pericardial cavity class is the serous fluid known as the pericardial fluid, okay? Again, inside the pericardial cavity is a fluid known as the pericardial fluid. So, ang purpose ng fluid na ito, class, is to reduce friction, okay? So, di ba yung heart natin is gumagalaw, di ba? Nag-beat yung ating heart. So, as a result, possibly, pwede niyang matamaan yung walls ng outside the environment. So, dapat, so ang purpose ng fluid na ito is to reduce the friction, okay? Reduce the friction. So, a condition in which, class, in which there is a condition in which nasusobrahan yung dami ng ating pericardial fluid. As a result, class, nagkakaroon ng compression sa ating heart, okay? So, pag dumarami yung fluid natin dito, nakakompress yung ating heart, okay? At pag nakompress yung heart natin, class, it will cause chest pains. So, pag ganito ang nangyari, ang tawag dito is cardiac tamponade. Okay? Again, ang tawag is cardiac tamponade. So, cardiac tamponade is brought about by the compression of the heart as a result of the increase in our pericardial fluid. Okay. So now let's talk about the heart wall, okay? So, tapos na tayo sa covering. Now, tingnan naman natin yung nasa loob ng ating heart, specifically yung walls, okay? So, the heart has 3 layers. We have the epicardium, the myocardium, as well as the endocardium. So ito yun sila. We have the epicardium, the myocardium, and the endocardium. Di ba familiar si epicardium? Siya rin si visceral pericardium or yung visceral na layer natin. So if my question class, what part of the heart is a layer of the heart wall as well as a layer of the covering, okay? So the answer is the visceral pericardium, okay? Again, which part of the heart is a layer of the heart wall as well as a layer of the heart covering? The answer is the visceral pericardium or epicardium. Yes, very good. So, yung outer layer natin, class, yung heart sa heart wall, okay? Yung outside layer is the epicardium, okay? Yung epicardium natin. So, yung black na yan, class, makikita niyo yung black. Kita niyo ba yung black, class? Yung black na yan, class, yan yung ating epicardium, okay? So, yung epicardium, class, it has fats as well as blood vessels that will supply our myocardium, okay? Again, the epicardium has fats as well as blood vessels that will supply the myocardium. Now, yung middle layer naman natin, class, is the myocardium. Okay, the myocardium. So, itong myocardium natin, class, it is composed of muscle fibers. Specifically, yung mga cardiac muscle natin. So, kita nyo yan, yan siya. So, yan sila, class, that is the myocardium. Okay, yan yung myocardium natin. So, yung myocardium natin, class, yun yung responsible. Since may muscle siya, siya yung responsible for the pumping action. Okay? Siya yung dahilan kung bakit nagko-contract yung ating heart. Okay? Again, the layer of the heart that is responsible for muscle contraction or the pumping action is the myocardium. Okay? The myocardium. Now, itong myocardium natin, class, kung titingnan natin, yung external niya, it is arranged in bundles that swirl diagonally around the heart. So ito yun, kita niyo siya, yung padiagonal yung kanyang pag-swirling, okay, padiagonal. So ginasurround niya yung ating heart, okay, paslant siya or padiagonal. So sa loob pa nun, yung inner layer natin, we have the endocardium. So the endocardium, ito siya, yung nasa loob na, okay, yung endocardium, yung nasa loob, okay, it covers na the valves, okay, yung mga valves natin. Ito sila yung mga valves. Okay, so the endocardium, class, it minimizes surface friction as blood passes through the heart. Okay, so di ba pumapasok yung blood sa ating heart, kaya dapat ma-minimize yung friction. At yung responsible for minimizing the friction is your endocardium, okay? So again, the three layers of the heart wall are the epicardium, the myocardium, as well as the endocardium. Okay, now, let's talk about the heart chambers, okay? So, the heart is divided into 4 chambers, okay? 4 chambers. So, we have the right side and then we have the left side, okay? So, itong mga chambers na ito, class, they act as separate the pumps, okay? Separate pumps. So, the chambers that are located superiorly, yung nasa taas, class, they are known as the atria or atrium pag singular. So, yung mga atria, class, sila yung receiving chambers. Therefore, sila yung nag-receive ng blood papunta sa heart, okay? So, this is the... Wait. So, ito yung right atrium natin, and then ito naman yung left atrium. Okay? So, sila yung receiving chambers. Whereas, yung chambers naman na located inferiorly are known as the ventricle. So, sila yung discharging chambers. Kumbaga, sila yung nagpapump ng blood palabas ng heart. Okay? So, we have the right ventricle here, as well as yung ating left na ventricle. So, externally, class, sa labas ng ating atrium, meron tayong tinatawag na auricle, okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na auricle. So yung auricle na yan, class, it is a wrinkled, kita niyo siya, para siyang may wrinkles, di ba? Wrinkled pouch-like structure that slightly increases the capacity of the atrium. So medyo dami niya yung capacity ng ating atrium. Okay? So aside from that, importante rin yung ating mga importante rin yung ating mga sulci or sulci. Okay, yan sila. Di ba, kung maaalala ninyo sa brain, yung sulci class or yung mga sulci natin, according sa book, ang pag-pronounce daw is sulci. Sige. Ang mga sulci class, sila yung mga grooves. Okay, grooves o kaya mga, ano tawag yan? Mga medyo mga maliliit na mga kanal. Okay? So, yung heart natin, class, meron din mga sulci. Okay? So, we have the coronary sulcus. Then, we also have the anterior interventricular na sulcus. Okay? So, yung mga sulcus na ito, class, yung mga parang mga kanal-kanal na ito, class, they contain blood vessels and fats. Okay? Again, yung mga sulcus na yan, yung mga coronary sulcus, pati anterior interventricular sulcus, they contain blood vessels, pati fats. Okay? So, makita nyo ba? Yan. Meron tayong blood vessel dito, then meron din tayong fat. Okay? Di ba? Yan sila. So, itong coronary sulcus, class, deep ito siya na na groove. Okay? Deep siya na groove. And then, it encircles most of the heart. So, from dito, tapos sa likod is nakapabalot yung ating sulcus. Titingnan natin later. So, by the way, this sulcus, class, it also separates yung mga chambers natin, okay? So, ito si coronary sulcus, it separates the right atrium as well as the right ventricle, okay? Whereas itong si anterior interventricular sulcus natin, it separates yung ating right ventricle pati yung ating left ventricle. Okay? So, ito yun siya. So, ito yun, no? Hanggang dito, di ba, nakapalibot pa rin si sulcus natin. Okay? Yan. So, may groove yan siya, si sulcus. Okay. So, ito, meron din tayong posterior interventricular sulcus. So, ito yung nasa likod na ito siya ng natin, sa posterior part na ng ating heart. So, it still separates yung ating left ventricle, pati yung ating right ventricle. Okay? So, sa loob naman ng ating heart, class, meron tayong mga tinatawag na valves. Okay? Mga valves. So, yung valves na ito, class, they allow the blood to flow in only one direction, okay? So, as the blood is being pumped throughout our heart, dapat iisa lang yung direction. Hindi pwede na babalik pa sa sa previous na chamber yung ating blood, okay? So, yung mga valves natin, class, they open and close in response to pressure changes, okay? So, for example, class, may pumasok na blood dito sa ating right atrium. Yung pressure ng class will force our valve, ito yun siya, yung valve natin, will force the valve open. Okay? Again, kaya nag-open yung valve natin is because of the pressure. Now, there are four valves inside our heart. So, they are generally categorized into two. We have the atrioventricular valves, and then we also have the semilunar valves, okay? So, yung atrioventricular valves, class, they separate or they are located between our atria and the ventricles. So, for the atrioventricular valves, we have the bicuspid valve sa left na side, and then we have the tricuspid valve sa right na side. So, ano ba yun siya? So, ito yun siya, class. Yan yung mga atrioventricular valves natin. So ito si bicuspid valve, also known as the mitral valve. Mitral valve. Siya yung opening or siya yung valve between our left atrium as well as our left ventricle. Okay? Whereas si tricuspid valve naman class, it is the opening between our right atrium and then our right ventricle. So next naman, we have the semilunar valve. So kaya siya tinawag na semilunar valves class because they are made up of three crescent moon-shaped cups. Three crescent moon-shaped cups. Ito yun siya. So ito yung example ng ating crescent moon-shaped cups. So, yan siya. So, parang siyang crescent moon. 1, 2, 3. So, parang siyang cup class. Parang siyang cup. Okay? So, yung semilunar valves natin, meron tayong dalawa. We have the pulmonary semilunar valve as well as the aortic semilunar valve. So, saan ba yun siya? Ito yun. Yung ating pulmonary valve. Okay? Pulmonary valve as well as yung ating aortic na valve. So, when we say pulmonary valve class, ito yung opening between our left ventricle as well as our pulmonary na tawag ito, mga arteries, okay? So, ito siya yung papunta ng ating lungs, okay? Whereas si aortic valve naman nating class, ito yung papunta sa sa different parts of our body, okay? So, yun siya, aortic valve. So, para maalala nyo class kung ano yung flow ng ating tawag nito, kung ano yung nag-open, okay? Ano yung nag-open? Remember the mnemonic, they pay me alcohol. They pay me alcohol. So, they pay me alcohol. So, first, di ba, papasok si blood sa ating right atrium. Then, ang first na ma-encounter niya na opening is yung tricuspid valve natin. So, yan yung day. Okay? So, after nun, mapapump siya sa ating right ventricle. Okay? Mapapump siya sa right ventricle. Tapos, papasok siya sa ating lungs. Okay? With the use of our pulmonary valve. Okay? They pay. So, once na nakapasok na si blood sa ating lungs class, babalik siya sa ating heart. Okay? Babalik siya sa ating heart through our aortic valve. Okay, sana yun. Okay, so babalik yung blood through our aortic na valve. Sana yung mouse cursor. Aortic valve, and then papasok ulit papasok si blood sa ating baliktad ko. Papasok siya class sa ating bicuspid na valve class. Bicuspid na valve. Okay, papasok siya sa ating bicuspid na valve. So from the lungs, papasok siya dito sa ating left atrium, okay, sa left atrium, then dadaan siya sa ating bicuspid na valve or yung mitral valve natin. Okay, ito siya, and then papump siya towards our left ventricle. Okay, and then pupunta siya sa ating different parts of the heart through our aortic na valve. Okay, so we have they pay me alcohol. Okay, so yun yung flow ng ating blood. So yun yung mga ma-open na mga valves. So, ito yung itsura ng ating class ng ating valve. Okay? So, for example, we have the bicuspid valve. So, kaya siya natawag na bicuspid class kasi dalawa yung kanyang cusp. So, when we say cusp, ito yun siya. Ito yun. Ito yung cusp. So, 1, tapos 2. Okay? We have the 1, 2. Pag tricuspid naman, tatlo. Ito yun. 1, 2, 3. So, kaya niya siya natawag na bicuspid, tricuspid. So, pag open ang valve natin, ito yung itsura niya. Okay? Ito yung itsura niya. Tapos si chordae tendineae. chordate tendiniae class. It is a tendon. Ano lang siya, slack lang siya or kumbaga hindi siya nakakontract. Okay? So, nakarelax na din yung papillary muscles natin. Nakarelax lang siya. Now, once na ma-close na siya, ito na yung itsura. Okay? So, naka-close na yung ating cusp. So, pag naka-close yung ating cusp class, naka-taut si chordate tendiniae. Okay? So, naka-contract kumbaga siya. Okay? So, yung ating papillary muscles, kumbaga hihilain niya yung ating chordate tendiniae. Okay? Hihilain niya si chordate tendiniae para ma-close yung ating cusps. So, yan yung itsura ng ating valve. So, valves open as blood is pumped through. Okay? So, nag-open yung valve kapag may papasok na blood. Now, once na nakapasok na yung blood class, dapat mag-close yan siya. Okay? Mag-close lang siya para ma-prevent yung backflow. Okay? So, para hindi mag-backflow yung ating blood pabalik doon sa previous na chamber. So, our valves are held in place by the chordate tendiniae. So, ito yun. Yung tinatawag na heartstrings. Okay? Heartstrings. Yung mga chordate tendiniae. So, again, the valve should close to prevent the backflow. Okay? To prevent the backflow. So, ito yun siya. So, naka-close na valve and then naka-open na valve. Okay? So, operation of our heart valves. Okay, so operation of the heart valves. Okay, so, di ba sabi ko kanina, nag-open yung valves natin because of pressure changes, okay? So, when blood enters our atria class, it will have a great or increased pressure. Tapos, increased pressure na yung class, it will force our valves to open. So, pag na-open na yung valves, papasok na yung ating blood papunta sa ating ventricles, okay? So once na yung blood class na sa ventricles na, yung ating valves class is dapat mag-close, okay? So mag-close sila with the use of our papillary muscle pati yung chordate tendiniae natin, okay? So ganyan siya. So, same lang din dito, class. Mag-open yung ating valves because of the pressure. And then, mag-close sila because of the chordate tendiniae as well as yung ating papillary muscles. So, similar lang sila ng mechanism. Kaya, saan yun? So, dapat naka-close lang talaga yung class. Once na nasa labas na, dapat naka-close na yung ating mga valves, okay? Para itong blood na ito, hindi siya papasok balik sa ating mga chambers. Okay. So, the heart has associated great vessels. So, we have the aorta, which leaves the left ventricle. We have the pulmonary arteries, okay, which is the right ventricle. We have the vena cava, and then the pulmonary veins, okay? So remember, class, that there are three types of blood vessels. We have the arteries, the veins, as well as the capillaries, okay? So yung arteries, class, sila yung nagkikerry ng oxygenated blood papunta sa different parts of our body. Now si aorta, malaki lang yan siya na artery, okay? Now, yung veins naman natin, they carry the oxygenated blood towards our heart. Okay? So, yung malaki na class, yung malaki na vein is called your vena cava. So, ano ba yung sequence nito? Ito yun sa class. So, so for example, class, we are doing our daily activities, okay? So while doing our activities, class, nagkumihinga tayo, tapos nag-exhale din tayo. So yung sa ating sa different tissues natin, class, eventually is nag-accumulate yung ating carbon dioxide. Now, dahil dyan, nawawala yung oxygen from the blood. So, dapat mabigyan ulit ng oxygen yung ating blood. So, yung itong veins natin, class, yung veins natin, okay, it will carry our deoxygenated blood papunta sa ating heart, okay? So sa vena cava natin, yung ating superior vena cava, pati yung inferior vena cava natin, class, from these veins, papasok yung ating deoxygenated blood. So dito na yun siya sa ating right atrium. Then from our right atrium, magpapass through siya sa opening na ito. Ano nga yung tawag sa opening na ito, class? What do you call the opening between your right atrium pati right ventricle?
Tricuspid valve.
Very good. We have the tricuspid valve. So magpapump si blood through our opening. So once na nakapasok siya ng ventricle, yung valves natin is mag-close. Okay? So itong right ventricle, class, is magko-contract din yan siya. Magko-contract siya dito papunta dito. Anong tawag saan na ito, sa valve na ito? What do you call this valve? The pulmonary valve. Okay? Pulmonary valve siya, class, because papunta siya sa heart, ay sa lungs. Okay? Pulmonary, papunta siya sa heart, sa lungs. Okay? So from this pulmonary valve, si blood is lalabas sa ating heart, dadaan siya sa ating tawag ito, sa ating pulmonary arteries. Okay? So yan siya. Tapos pupunta sila dito sa ating lungs. So once na tayo, class, na nag-inhale tayo, class, okay? Once na nag-inhale tayo, yung oxygen is siya, mapupunta siya sa ating blood. Tapos yung ating yung carbon dioxide is ma-exhale, okay? So once na oxygenated na yung natin, yung ating tawag ito, oxygenated na yung ating blood, class, babalik na siya sa ating heart. Okay? So dadaan na siya ulit sa blood vessels natin. Dadaan siya sa blood vessels. Then papasok na naman siya sa ating left atrium. Okay? Papasok siya sa left atrium. Now what do you call this valve? Yung nandito. We have the bicuspid valve, or yung tinatawag natin na mitral valve. Now once na nakapass through na siya dyan na valve, pupunta na siya sa left ventricle. Tapos si left ventricle, ipapump niya na yung ating blood papunta sa different parts of the heart natin. Pero dadaan muna siya sa what opening, class? Anong tawag sa
aortic valve?
Yes, very good. We have the aortic valve. So yun na yan siya. Stabilize si oxygenated blood. Tapos pupunta na siya sa ating different parts of the body. Tapos, magkakaroon na ng gas exchange na naman sa ating mga capillaries. Okay? Nag-gets na yun, class? So, that is the systemic circuit as well as the pulmonary circuit. So, yun yung nangyayari sa ating heart, sa lungs, pati sa ating katawan. Okay? So, I hope na next, na gets nyo na yun. Okay? Ito yun siya again. So we have the superior vena cava as well as the inferior vena cava na nagke-carry ng blood sa ating papunta sa ating right atrium, class. So naka-posterior view ito, so meaning nasa likod. So nakapatali, ito yung pinili ko na picture kasi meron pa tayong coronary sinus, class. Coronary sinus, which is located sa ating coronary sulcus, okay? So, siya. So, bale, tatlo yung veins na na nagdadala ng blood papunta sa ating right atrium. Okay. Tama pala, before I forget, the right atrium as well as your left atrium, class, they are separated by the interatrial septum. The interatrial or atrial septum. Okay? Again, the right and left atrium are separated by your interatrial septum. Whereas yung ventricles naman natin, class, wait lang. Yung ventricles naman natin, class, it is separated by the by the interventricular septum, okay? So yung right ventricle pati left ventricle natin, it is separated by the interventricular septum. Okay, ito siya, interventricular septum. So yun siya. And so, di ba, from the right ventricle class, pupunta siya sa sa opening natin, which is the pulmonary na valve natin class. Once na nakapass through na siya sa natin, sa ating pulmonary valve class, pupunta siya sa ating pulmonary na trunk. Then, itong pulmonary trunk class, it will be murag mag-part ways sila sa ating left pulmonary artery pati right pulmonary artery. So from the pulmonary trunk, okay, so may blood na pupunta dito sa left pulmonary artery, so dito yung left lung, okay? So ito yung papunta sa left lung natin. Then dito naman sa right pulmonary artery natin, dito yung ating right na lung. Okay? Yun siya. Okay. So, so coronary circulation. So the blood in the heart chambers class does not nourish the myocardium, okay? So kung yung nagpa-pump sa ating heart class, yung blood na yung blood na nagpa-pump sa ating heart class, they do not supply yung ating myocardium, okay? So yung heart natin meron siyang own nourishing circulatory systems, okay? So may sariling may sariling circulatory system yung ating heart. So we have the coronary arteries, we have the cardiac vein, as well as yung yung coronary arteries natin, pati yung ating cardiac veins, okay? So, ma-remember niyo yung coronary sinus class. So, yung coronary sinus, yung nakikita sa likod ng ating heart class, kumbaga siya yung siya yung nagsusupply ng blood sa ating heart mismo, okay? Yung sa ating cardiac muscle, sa ating myocardium. Okay? So, the blood empties into the right atrium via the coronary sinus. So again, the blood in the heart chambers does not nourish the myocardium. So yung pumapasok na tawag ito, na blood sa ating heart class, hindi niya nabibigyan ng nourishment yung ating myocardium. Pero yung nagbibigay sa kanya ng nourishment is yung own circulatory system niya, which are the coronary arteries as well as the cardiac veins. Okay? So, yung mga coronary natin dyan. So, for example, ito, yung ating coronary arteries, yan, yung malalaki na mga blood vessels na yan, class. Yan. Sila yung nagsusupply ng nourishment sa ating cardiac muscle. Yan, yung striated na yan. Yan, cardiac muscle. Okay? So, conduction system. So, paano ba nakakonduct yung nerve impulses sa ating heart? So, meron tayong tinatawag na intrinsic na conduction system o yung ating nodal system. Okay? So, when we say intrinsic class, walang nerve impulses. Okay? Walang nerve impulses. Kumbaga, yung heart muscle cells natin, nagko-contract lang siya in irregular, continuous na way. Okay? So, remember, intrinsic, there are no nerve impulses. So, kumbaga, siya lang mismo yung nagko-contract sa kanyang sarili. Okay? So, sa intrinsic natin, we have yung mga special tissues natin. We have the sinoatrial node natin, yung atrioventricular node, atrioventricular bundle, yung mga bundle branches natin, pati yung Purkinje or Purkinje na fibers. Picture na tayo dito. Ayun. So, ito yun sila. So, ito yung mga kumbaga Mga special tissues natin that are helpful for conduction. So, yung atrioventricular bundles natin, and yung yellow, okay? Yung mga fibers class and yung mga bundles, okay? Yung mga bundle branches, mga Purkinje fibers, yung mga nodes natin, yan, yung mga nodes, mga circular na terminals, yan sila. Okay? So, ito si sinoatrial class, sinoatrial node, yan yung ating pacemaker. Okay? Yan yung pacemaker. So, when we say pacemaker class, kumbaga siya yung siya yung nagsiset ng pace sa contraction ng ating heart. Okay? So, if ever class na naka-ano ba kayo? Familiar ba kayo ng familiar ba kayo ng mga gina-heart attack gani class? So, pag may person nag-heart attack, most probably meron ng sira sa kanyang heart na heart na muscles. Okay? So, hindi na siya makakontract ng sarili niya. Which is why merong gina-transplant sa kanila na pacemaker. Okay? So, kumbaga yung gina-transplant na pacemaker sa kanila, tumutulong sa ating sinoatrial na node. Okay? So, ano lang, a little trivia lang. Yung lola ko kasi class, naka-heart attack siya dati. And then, nung na-admit siya, after, kalimot ko pila to siya ka-weeks na admit class. After pila ka-weeks class is, namatay si lola. Then, nung namatay si lola class, pag ato na ako sa hospital is, nakita man ako tong body sa akong lola. Dili ko mo to at first na wala na si lola kay, makita na ako na naga-pump pa or makita na ako na naga-pump pa ang heart sa ako ang lola. Pero ang explanation ato kay because of the pacemaker lang di ay to siya. Okay? So, the pacemaker, it is powered by batteries man. So, nailad ko class, so abi na ako nabuhay pa akong lola, pero ang nag-pump na lang dahil sa iyang heart ato is yung kanyang pacemaker. Okay? Wala lang, trivia lang. So, yan siya, yung mga special tissues natin that helps in conduction. So, the contraction class is initiated by the sinoatrial na node, okay? So, ang first talaga na nagsiset ng pace, di ba nga, pacemaker siya. So, sinoatrial node. So, siya yung first na nagsiset ng pace. Tapos, magpa-follow na yung ating iba na mga fibers. Okay? So, sequential stimulation occurs at other autorhythmic cells. So, when we say autorhythmic class, ito yung rhythm na hindi kailangan ng external na forces. So, kumbaga, siya mismo yung nagko-contract. So, again, sinoatrial node sa kanya first nangyayari yung ating conduction. And afterwards is magpa-follow na yung ibang mga fibers pati mga nodes. Okay? So the cardiac cycle of our heart. So ano ba yung una na nagko-contract, yung atria ba, yung ventricles ba, etc. So actually class, yung atria natin yung first na nagko-contract, okay? So they contract simultaneously, so sabay. So, kapag naka-contract yung ating atria class, yung ating ventricles is naka-relax. And then, vice versa. So, pag naka-relax sa atria class, yung ating ventricles is magko-contract. Now, dito na papasok yung ating terms na systole at yung ating diastole. So, yung tawag sa contraction class is the systole, whereas yung relaxation naman class, yun yung ating diastole. Okay? So, yung sa blood pressure, sa ganit class, yung sa BP taking. So, yung upper na number is the systole, and then yung sa baba is yung ating diastole. Okay? Systole over diastole. So, one cardiac cycle class, ibig sabihin, one complete na heartbeat. Okay? So, one cardiac cycle is equal to one complete na heartbeat. So, During the mid to late diastole class, the blood will flow into the ventricle. Okay, so during mid to late diastole, the blood will flow into the ventricle. So, yun siya. So, during the mid to late diastole, ito, the blood will flow papunta sa ating ventricle. Okay, papunta sa ventricle. So, ang first na nangyayari sa cardiac cycle is the mid to late diastole. Then, yung next na stage naman ng cardiac cycle natin is the ventricular systole. Okay, ventricular systole. So, itong ventricular systole class, ang nangyari dito is that the blood pressure builds before the ventricle contracts. Okay? So, ito yun siya. So, kumbaga sa ventricular systole class is nagkakaroon ng build up of pressure sa ating mga ventricles. Okay? Build up of pressure until ready na ma-eject yung blood palabas ng ating heart. Sorry. And then yung sa early diastole naman class, yung atria natin, nafe-finish niya na refill yung kanyang self, and then yung ventricular pressure is low. Okay? So again, sa mid to late diastole class, nagsisimula pa lang ma-fill up yung ating ventricles. Okay? Nagsisimula pa lang fill up yung ating ventricles. Then sa ventricular systole class, nagbi-build yung